And to get kicked off today, I found a few fun quotes. It is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can best manage change. All fixed patterns are incapable of adaptability or pliability. The truth is outside of all fixed patterns.
Bruce Lee. I like
Bruce
it.
Lee, who knew, right? I love it.
Yeah.
Chinese proverb, a wise man adapts himself to circumstances as water shapes itself to the vessel that contains it. Former President Barack Obama, change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Nietzsche said, the snake which cannot cast its skin has to die, as well as the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions. They cease to be mind. Albert Einstein said, the world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Andy Warhol said, they always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. And my mother-in-law said, try it for 3 weeks. If it sucks, then we'll try something else. But we're going to try something.
I love it.
Good old mother-in-law. So I wanted to give you a few things to ponder about change because change does make people very uncomfortable. All of us, in some way, shape, or form, get uncomfortable about change. It's changing your diet, changing your job, changing something in your department, changing, oh my goodness, changing a workstation, changing how you check guests in, how you check guests out, changing your inventory, changing, you name it. There are so many different things, and it's hard. It's hard enough to just wake up some mornings. So, how do we inspire people to embrace change? I want to give you some thoughts and some ways that we get people in that mind frame. A lot of you know that that's one of the things that I do when I come and visit you is that I get you in that kind of mindset of how do we embrace change? And sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not so easy. So I want to get you started just with something really easy here. If you're left-handed, put your pen in your right hand. If you're right-handed, put your pen in your left hand. And I want you to just write your name. Write your name with your opposite hand, just for 1 second.
Oh, this is going to be pretty.
Yeah. And I'm going to show you mine. And don't try too hard. Just there's mine. It's a mess.
It's
It's
sort of like an 8-year-old.
hey, eight's pretty good. Eight's pretty good. So it's uncomfortable. It's ugly. It's messy. Ew, I don't want to do that again. That's not me. That's not how I am. That's not what I do. So to get someone comfortable with change, to embrace change, we have to engage 3 steps. These 3 steps are ones that either you are going to be leading, or you'll be involved in, or you're going to be dragged along with it. So your job is going to be to either be part of the change or be leading the change. Either way, I'm going to give you some tips so that you can inspire people to embrace the change. So, just for a second, if you want to take a second, think about or text chat us. You can use the text chat function here. Text chat us some change that's going on right now in your organization. Is there some big change that's happening that you're struggling with? I want to know. And then we could even use that if you want to. And if you're thinking about it and you don't want to share that, that's fine too. But if you want to, I want to know. These 3 steps, in the meantime, I'll introduce you to. First step is to inform. Second step is to involve. And the third step is to inspire. So today what I want to be able to do is break these three down, give you a few tools in each one, and refresh you on some tools that I know you already know because we've gone through them before, we've practiced them before, and remind you of some of the things that already exist within you that make you the leader that you are. Yolanda says, my spouse is getting surgery and will be home while I'm here working. That's great. Yeah, that's going to be a big change. And you're going to have to figure out how you make sure you don't kill each other. So let's give you some tips today. Um,
Yeah.
step so first, um, step one always is to inform. Always keep people, your team members, your family members, over communicated with. Always keep informed, even if you don't know anything. Um, and so the reason for keeping people informed is so that you don't get that nobody tells me anything. People are always keeping me in the dark. I always feel like I have no idea what's going on. Sometimes you don't even know what's going on, and that's okay. But the more you're able to just let people know what limited nuggets of information you have, the better off all of you will end up being. So here, what is it that we can inform people of? Informing them of what happened at the latest staff meeting. One of the things that I like to do is also going back to inform, involve, inspire, is to give people an opportunity. What's going on here? Give people an opportunity to actually go to a staff meeting sometimes. So it doesn't, I have a feeling that I think there's some sort of timing issue on my deck here. I'm going to clean that up. So when it comes to informing, even allowing people to attend a staff meeting on your behalf is a great way to allow people a chance to stay informed. You don't have to be the one that goes to all of the staff meetings. That's not a requirement. So if it means that you are no longer the keeper of information, fine. It's okay. Um, Other ways that you can keep people informed, you can forward emails, sure, but follow up with people as well. You may remember one of the things that I've told you in the past, and I'll remind you, is that there is a curve of forgetting that occurs. So you may share something with somebody one time, that's not enough times. You always want to make sure that you tell people something 6 times if you want to increase the likelihood of retention. So my advice to you is to make sure that whenever you're giving information, that you give it several times. So over communicating is better than under communicating. Okay, so I think I have cleaned up the timing on these so they're not going too fast. We're going to find out here in just a second. I don't know what just happened. So inform, step one. So if you're struggling with getting people on board, with you, I don't know what I did. If you're struggling with getting people on board with you, trying to figure out how to convince people that the change that's coming is necessary and warranted, here's a great exercise that you can walk them through. It's called the 4Ps exercise. So this is a great tip for you. So what you would do is, as a group, you would walk through a couple of the elements of the change that's coming. So let's say, you would break it up into 4 columns as a group and say, okay, here's the change that's coming up. Here's the project. The project would be the change. Project, purpose, particulars, people. So I would say, let's say, for example, I tried to get clever. This is what happens when I try to get clever. I'm just going to clean all that up. I'm going to do this. Okay, hopefully this is no longer going to do that to me now, I hope. I just don't know what happened. I'm sorry, everybody. So, project, purpose, particulars, people. So then have your team walk through, why are we doing this? What is the purpose behind this? For example, in this case, the new point of point of sale or registration system. Have them brainstorm the purposes behind it. Don't tell them, let them tell you. So this is a way for them to stay informed, because you're not the pusher of information, they're coming to the answer themselves. Expedited reception, decreased billing issues, ensuring the credit cards are always on file. These might be reasons for that new POS. Particulars. So this is what has to happen in order for the project to launch. Training to use the new system, change in verbiage must occur that has to be used with guests. Change in layout of the front desk, for example. There are many more things, of course, but have them brainstorm the things that have to occur. And then what people have to be involved. Front desk, concierge, front office supervisors, sorry, uh, I don't know what happened today. Uh, yep, and accounting, reservation, sales, and accounting. So project, purpose, particulars, people. Great way to inform everybody is by allowing them to come to the answer. So inform is the first of 3 steps of how to inspire people to embrace change. Second one is to involve. So when we're talking about involving, I always go to the service culture building blocks that we always use here at Guest Service Solutions. And the reason why we always go to these is because, to me, this is where the majority of our tangibles for what we do on a daily basis, where the operational pieces really kind of can be affected. And when I'm thinking of how I can involve my staff in something that feels comfortable to them, involving them in something that they know about, involving them in something that they can really see, feel, and touch, that I know that isn't scary to them, this is where I want to go. So think of the change perhaps that's occurring already in your organization or that's coming up. And then take a look at these service culture building blocks. Take a look at that change and where these building blocks or these things that truly affect your service culture actually touch it. So if it touches or where it touches, these are the places where you can really involve your team. So if we go back to, for example, the new point of sale system, and I take a look here at the service culture building blocks, perhaps one of the things that I might want to be looking at where I could involve my staff members is improving the service standards. I might need to change the service standards. This is a place where I could involve my team. They would definitely be more likely to execute on those service standards if I involved them in helping to revise those service standards. Another place where we could see them perhaps wanting to or being able to affect changes in training, because the more they're involved in actually the training piece, the more likely they will be to be consistent. So take a look at, again, where that take a look at the change and where these 12 service culture building blocks might perhaps touch that. That's a great intersection, a great place where you could involve people. Now, I always then go immediately into the third piece, which is inspiring. And when it comes to inspiring, this can always get a little tricky because we always want to make sure that we're inspiring people in the way that they want to be inspired, right? Because everyone has sort of a what's in it for me going on. So in step 3 of inspiring, it's great that we have these service culture building blocks, but if I don't like to train and I just want to come in and do my job and go home, then this isn't really going to be all that interesting to me. So, what's in it for me really comes down to people are selfish. We're all selfish people. So if I can think of the nobler motives, appeal to the nobler motives of somebody, then I'm going to have a much higher likelihood of making sure that I'm going to see the change that needs to occur. So if I've informed them, they've come to the conclusion with me. I've involved them. I've looked at the places where the service culture building blocks are touching that change that's coming up. Now it's time to inspire them. I have to inspire them in two ways. I have to inspire them personally, and I have to inspire them professionally. So those are two completely different ways. So you may recall the magic formula. And Justin, I know even you have had to tell a magic formula story once upon a time. And that magic formula story, and you've probably used this formula in many other ways since then, is a very powerful way that we can inspire somebody to embrace change. Because with this magic formula, I'm sharing an example, a very personal example, perhaps something that has happened to me. I'm sharing an action that supports our mission, or perhaps in this case, supports the change that I am wanting to implement. And I'm sharing a result. It's a result that's a benefit to that person personally. So the experience, action, and results. So I can share perhaps a story that just recently happened to me. And sometimes you might have an actual object that goes along with this. And so I don't have my actual object with me, but I have a fuzzy blanket now. It's a brand new fuzzy blanket, and it's eggplant in color, and it says Deer Valley Resort on it, and I absolutely love it. And this was given to me as a gift just the other day. And I facilitated a workshop last Thursday at Deer Valley Resort, um, and it was for about 80 people. And it was a first attempt at doing an event like this. It was like a touch forward fall kickoff kind of an event for a bunch of people. And it was very important to this organization because they have been going through a lot of changes themselves right now. And this group was definitely wanting to make sure that they were inspiring this whole team to get excited about some of the changes that are going on, changes in leadership, changes in operations, changes in infrastructure, changes in equipment, lots of different changes going on. And the whole goal of this touch forward was to get this whole team thinking about the changes that each individual could be making personally to affect what to affect their own environment, and to affect the way that they could communicate in a more effective way with each other. So while I got this blanket, which was absolutely beautiful, and now my kids are fighting over it because it's the fuzziest thing in my house, the more special thing that came along with this was a beautiful letter from the director of operations. And he is such a lovely man, Mr. Kim McClelland. And he sent me this letter, and I want to read it to you. He said, whenever you do something like the training we did on Thursday, you always wonder, how did it go? Did people enjoy it? Did they feel it was worthwhile? Did they have a takeaway? I thought I would share with you that in the last 2 days, I have visited 9 of our properties, and it was all anyone wanted to talk about. They were talking about what color they were, red, blue, yellow, green, what color their colleagues were, what they learned about communication styles, tools that they felt they now had in their quiver that they didn't before. I know that the training went well, but I had no idea the level of impact it had until I was on property talking to people. Just some more accolades for a job well done that I thought I would pass along. So my action to you that I recommend is that even if you think that you aren't inspiring someone to embrace change, try anyway. You will be amazed at the impact that you have when you get out of your own comfort zone and just try because you know it's the right thing to do. So, with that, I leave you with this thought: inform, involve, inspire. Be the change that you wish to see. That's my last quote for you. And if you're struggling to find inspiration, remember you have the virtual coaching solution at your fingertips all the time. So beyond the recordings to past green rooms, you should have at least a good dozen in your quiver by now. You also have our weekly training videos that Yolanda drops on you. So the fix is coming at you live. I think this last week it was the value chain technique. Yes, and so we have some really cool ideas there for you that'll help you to sell, that will improve the hospitality of your organization, that will continue to inspire for you while you sleep. And how do you use video? There are great ways here, all different kinds of things that you can be using. And if you're struggling to figure out a way to incorporate video, talk to us. We'll help you figure it out. Next month, we have Benefits of Mystery Shopping on deck. That'll be October 25th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So be there for sure. I promise you that we're going to have some interesting stuff to talk about and probably some fun video to share with you. And I want to make sure that we share with you some great stuff that we have been up to here at Guest Service Solutions in the mystery shopping world. Because we do a pretty awesome job of it. And if you've ever thought about mystery shopping, now is the time that you really need to learn a little bit more about it, because it's going to help your organization quite a bit. Thanks for being here today, everybody. I'm glad that you were, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.